Hello, this is Enigma. This is, to describe it as shortly as possible, a marble game. And it is a marble game, which is also a matching game. So, you see on the right there, those little stones got bumped and they revealed some black tiles. And that is, in fact, the main objective of this game. You can see I am the marble on the left here, and I'm just sort of bumping these tiles, and whenever I get a match, that is good. And this is a very complicated game, but luckily we're not quite going into the complicated subjects just yet. So, you can see there's a little scrolling blurb at the bottom. Let's just match some more real quick. So yellow and yellow and green, and just like that, the level's finished. And the game is full of matching games like these. So green and blue here. There's cyan, red. There's green. I'll probably not announce the matching too much, since you probably already get it at this point. But the real intrigue of this game is when it gets more complicated, I'd like to say. So, I will go through these levels, and ideally, I'll just sort of keep on playing, and eventually, we'll be able to see some interesting stuff. So here's already an interesting one. So there aren't any tiles in the puzzle to match, but that's not actually the case, because you can see there are actually some hidden in the walls. And this is a flavor of nonsense which is just normal for this game. It's not exactly the most player-friendly, but I think that's quite interesting, and I'd like to see just how much I can play of this game. So there's another match. I believe the red was somewhere around there. Yep. As you can see, bouncing against the wall quite violently. Alright, I believe green was there. Sure was. Alright. Where was the blue? There we go. There's another level complete. Let's take a moment to sit back real quick and see what else is going on. You might notice that I have an inventory at the bottom, and currently it's got a note and 2 batteries. And if I right click, I can shuffle them around, and if I left click, then it basically uses the item, and I can pick it back up. So these batteries, I'm not sure if the game explains them or where, but these are basically my extra lives. There isn't anything that can kill me right now, but when the occasion does arise, these batteries are basically 1 extra life. As for the note, take your time. I sure will. So while I'm going through this, I suppose I will mention some other fun facts about this game, such as the fact that it has, I'd like to say, well over 2,000 puzzles. And these puzzles are split across all sorts of different level packs, made by many different people, I'm pretty sure. And some of them are themed, some are not, some are good, some are perhaps less good, but I'd like to explore this game and just sort of discover what levels and what things there are to solve for myself. As you can see, while I'm commentating the game, it's actually quite difficult to do double duty with actually solving the memory game part of it. We're only 1 match away here, which is good. And I believe now is a good time to also mention that in most levels, the matching game is actually random. So here's a good opportunity. I'm going to hit those two tiles that were both black, and I'm going to reset the level real quick. And if I hit them again, now it's blue and green. So as you can see, the matching game shuffles. So you do in fact have to memorize where everything is. And sometimes the matching is an integral part of the level, but sometimes it might be that you just have to match two, and getting to those blocks is the puzzle, and not necessarily the matching. And sometimes there are puzzles which sort of do double duty in that regard. And as you can see, there's these skull blocks here. If you touch them, then you get destroyed. And you can see it expended one battery, and I can lose one more, but if I touch any more, then I'm going to die. Let's read this note. Don't touch everything. I think that is good advice. So this was blue, right? It sure was. Magenta, yellow, cyan, white. There's a match. Red. Okay. Where was yellow? Was it right here? It sure was. Black. Where's black? I don't know, but I do remember where blue is. So there's blue. Cyan was... I'd like to say it was right here. Sure was. Alright. I'm gonna have to train my memory mindset for this game pretty hard. And I suppose I should also note that I probably won't be able to solve every level. Because some levels in this game are, I'd like to say, not necessarily designed to be beatable. Red, green, cyan, blue, red. Alright, so green, cyan, blue. Let's go through this fun little twisty passage. There's green. So I remember cyan and blue. Alright, yellow. Alright, cyan. So I believe I remember where the cyan was. Should be on this third one right here. Sure was. And I'm doing the tutorial puzzle pack right now, so inevitably a lot of them will probably be this sort of simple matching, but I would like to try and play all of them just for the sake of thoroughness. So we've got some sand here. I suppose another sort of tiny mechanic to explain, which won't be relevant right now, but definitely later, is that these floor types, they each have different friction coefficients. I believe the two variables that the reference manual describes them with are friction and adhesion. So the friction is how fast the floor slows you down. So you can see that's how fast the sand slows me down. But the grass, it's a little bit, perhaps it's the same amount of friction. And then the adhesion is basically how effective my mouse is. So on the grass, I'd like to say that the adhesion is a little bit more slippery. But on the sand, I can really directly control how the ball moves. And now let's actually solve the puzzle. Blue and cyan. Oh, and here's this, I'd like to say it's cement, but it's really slow. Alright, so that's red and green. And then some really slippery ice. Okay, so that was a match. Yellow. Then we've got some super fast-moving tiles here, like barely even nudging the mouse, and the ball's just rocketing all over the place. So there's red and blue. Let's go ahead and match red real quick. I believe it was over here. And then, which one of these was blue? That's blue. And then here's this space goop. So the thing about the space goop is that I am not able to control myself at all while I'm going through it. And it looks pretty cool too. So there's another match. Let's try to hit this one. That's yellow. I believe I remember where yellow was. Trying to get off of this ground. It was right here, right? Sure was. Alright, so what are in here? Pink. This one's going to be pink too, right? Sure was. Level finished. Alright, let's read some more notes. Don't drown in the swamp. Good advice. So, you can see my ball is shrinking when it enters the swamp, and if it goes completely down, then it dies. Such is life. But we can cross pretty fast. In fact, if we keep moving, then we don't drown in the swamp at all. We stay afloat. There's a match. And here's another match. But first, let's read this note. Don't drown in the swamp. Good advice. Alright, and here's some actual water. So the water is dangerous, more dangerous than the swamp, because you will fall instantly. And obviously, you lose a life if that happens. So I'm not even going to try to touch the water, at least not intentionally. So blue and red. Getting sort of, what's the word? Trying to recall the word. It's actually quite mentally taxing to play this game, and commentate at the same time and also do all the memory stuff, but sort of having this nice relaxing orchestral music laid upon us. There's another solve. And now introducing a new mechanic. So we've got these pressure plates, and each of them opens up a specific door and closes all the others. These pressure plates, they can do just about anything as long as the puzzle calls for it. So you will always have to sort of figure out the rules of each specific puzzle. Nothing's set in stone, so to speak. So let's check out the top one. So that's red. How about this one? That's green. How about this one? That's red. I believe this one was red. Alright. That's blue. So this one should also be blue. Sure was. Actually, I don't actually remember if one of those was green. I think I might have jumped the gun. But either way, another quick solve. And now, here are two more strange things. So this block right here with the squiggle on it, this is a timer. What it does, again, depends on the puzzle. Basically what it's doing here is it's got these one-way gates. These little arrows, you can only pass through them in the direction on the arrow, otherwise you bump it. And what the timer is doing is every few seconds, it's basically changing the direction of these arrows. And I'm not sure how it's doing it. Might be following some weird rules. Currently I'm trapped in this block here, but eventually it let me out. It might be random which blocks it's changing. Moving through here now, sort of going backwards. Definitely a little bit silly. So as you can see, I'm really at the mercy of the level right now. Perhaps I should read the notes down there, just in case there is actually a rule, but... yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So what does this one say? This oscillating stone is a timer stone. You cannot interact with it, but nevertheless be aware when you see one. After some time period, anything might happen. So that's precisely as I said. The stones with arrows are one-way stones. As you might have guessed, you can only pass them in one direction. Mazes are cherished elements of Enigma. You will see lots of them. That is definitely a factual statement. Alright, let's see if this layout is being nice right now. Doesn't look like it. Is this good? Doesn't look like it. I'm definitely pretty confident that these layouts are in fact random, so it might take a very long time for me to solve this. Or, well, not solve it, but get a layout that's good enough for me to pass through. And you might think, well, okay, I get it. Why don't you move on already, since this is kind of a silly thing to show on video? But right as that happens, when you believe it, I found a way through. So that's nice. Well done. When you have finished this level, let's play some example levels from the actual Enigma packs. So we're still in the tutorial pack right now. Alright, so welcome. So, there's this funky block in the middle that's attached to this timer. It's going to play that silly noise again. Basically, what it does is it resets a stone that hasn't been matched yet. In fact, it resets all of them, so that's not very good. So let's go ahead and solve this fast. There we go. Don't have to hear any more of that. So yeah, these sort of red blocks here, what they do is they basically, sometimes they do nothing, sometimes I'm pretty sure they reset your progress. And currently my ball is actually moving upward. It's sort of going on a journey here, and now it's going rightward. So I believe what these pressure plates are doing is they're applying a force to me that's sort of moving the ball against my will. So let's go ahead and check out the blocks. So there's yellow. Let's match that real quick. Let's go on another journey. So that's blue, cyan. Alright, there's cyan again. Alright. Try to squeeze past that. And now, should be able to get cyan without too much trouble. So green and magenta. And as we know before, the middle stones are going to reset. So we probably don't want to touch them. Okay, so they're not actually the bad type. Alright, the doors. So here's a funny one. So these gates, they're just sort of moving on a timer. And if you stand in between them, they're going to pinch your ball and destroy it. So you don't want that to happen. And of course, we have to play the old matching game on top of all of that. So this is a good example of a level which definitely upping the annoyance factor. Takes a lot of time to sort of see which one is which. So that's yellow, that's green, that's cyan. What's down here? Blue. Alright. I've got 4 in my head right now. So that's green. So let's go ahead and solve the green real quick. There we go. hit this just in case the next one we hit happens to be cyan by a stroke of luck. As you can see, this puzzle is definitely going to take a while. Alright, so that's blue. So we can actually solve blue real quick. Never mind. Blue was in this corner. But now we know that's red. And just in case I do lose a life, I do have some extra lives. I believe it might have actually been more optimal to save solving red for the return trip to that corner, but it's a lesson that I ended up learning retroactively. Alright, so I believe the yellow was in the bottom right corner. If it wasn't, then we're going to have a little bit of a bad time, but... Okay, I was in fact correct. I'll probably keep this going for a while. I'll take a look at the level select after this one, I think, just to get an overview of how many levels I've done and how many I've yet to complete. There we go. New personal record. Alright, Sierpinski. So here's a level with the space, which, sure enough, moves you in whatever direction you were going. And I believe that the idea with this puzzle, or this room I guess, is it is a fractal curve that's sort of been made with the block layouts here, this sort of twisty path. And at the end of it is a stone. And I'm pretty sure that if I let fate move me, here we go. So at the other end of this, there should be another stone. Scroll the screen just to be sure. A little bit lower down. Definitely want to be a little bit careful with all these jumps I'm making. Don't want to overshoot and enter the void, if there is such a thing. Looks like it's quite a ways up. I hope I am not going in circles here. Perhaps it's all the way up here? Definitely going up. Wow, this is quite a big puzzle, or quite a big room. Not every room I would necessarily call a puzzle. And whenever I cross the void and I'm moving slow, I just sort of have to bear with it. Want to try to avoid that happening when possible. So, the other stone should be still going. This is a very big room. Sit down here. Now we're going back down. Just keep on going. Continuing later. So, looks like I am beholden to fate now. Okay, so the walls bounce me. So I actually could have probably solved that quite fast. But I didn't. I went mostly the path. Okay, so here's a new level called Meditation. So this is actually a secondary puzzle type. The matching game that you saw earlier, that was basically the Oxyd puzzle type. But the meditation puzzles have a different goal, which is basically to get all these little white pearls to stay at rest in these little holes. And right as soon as I got done explaining it, we went right out of it. So let's actually leave real quick. Where are we? We're currently on counterclockwise. So just sort of showing off how many different puzzles there are in just this tutorial pack. So we're definitely not getting done with all of them in this episode, unless I dedicate to a particularly long recording time. So, that's pink, green, red, yellow, blue, red, white, yellow, green. I believe this one's yellow. There's another match. Alright, so there's some things on the insides there. I'm fairly certain that there might be a way into the middle here. Here we go, with this arrow. So I believe we should be just examining the outside. Particularly... Okay, so these, like, very edge stones, we won't be able to hit them on the inside, so I'm glad that I did that now, but I think we should be able to go to the inside here. So that's cyan. That's pink. That's cyan. I believe this one was... Yep. Missed whatever that one was. That's blue. That's white. So the other white one is over here. And then the last one to match should be blue. And presto. Alright, hurry. So, blue, green, red, yellow, red. Alright, there's a red match. Cyan, blue. Got another match here. Alright, so let's memorize these four. Pink, cyan, yellow, green. And I'm pretty sure that the idea here is that these pressure plates, they open up the door and then it closes. And I'm pretty sure I don't want to be on the other side. And I forgot what the match was there. So let's do that. Open up another one. And that's pink. So green. There's another match. Oh, that is the dud. And if I open that, yep. So, touching that dud removed all of my progress. And now that I'm on the other side, I'll have to reset. Such is life. If you think that's bad, you haven't even seen a fraction of it. So, let's go for some more matches here. So we've got yellow, cyan, pink, and blue. So there's blue. There's yellow. That wasn't yellow. Want to be careful because I'm pretty sure we're quite close to hitting the dud again. That was the wrong one. Alright. Hopefully... Nope. Alright. That's unfortunate. But at least we know the layout now. And the floor here is kind of slippery, so not quite the best for actually trying to solve the puzzle. But at least we know which one is dangerous now. It's that one. So yellow. That's blue. Also, that floor in the middle is the door there is a slope. So not good for our intents and purposes. Alright, that's yellow. And then cyan. Right there. Alright, that's good. And now here's a fun one. I'm sort of like in an inner tube here. And it's sort of pushing me towards the middle, which is a lake. Quite dangerous. So red, yellow, green, blue. Alright, let's go for a red match. Alright, so yellow should be over here. Green should be over here. I do have 2 extra lives, just in case I fall into the water. Well, 1 extra life now, because I accidentally clicked. There we go. That wasn't too bad. Alright, so here's a new mechanic. This wooden block is movable and heavy enough to hold down the trigger on the right. Try to push it there. So, as you can see, whenever I bump into it fast enough, the block basically moves. And we're going to be pushing it against this mean old slope surface, which is, I wouldn't say too difficult, but I'm playing on a trackpad, so it's inevitably going to be a little bit weird for me. I definitely won't be able to play some of the levels which require a lot of dexterity, but this one shouldn't be too bad, even if it's going to be a little bit annoying, perhaps even to watch. Alright, and now we're on the other side, where now we're going with the flow here, and pushing it backwards. We need to push it. Don't want to push it against the wall right now. There we go. So we're out of there. And that's opened up. Is there more one can do with wooden blocks? Yes, just explore the next levels. I believe that might be referencing the fact that if you push a block over water, it'll fill it up, but it doesn't look like we're there just yet. Instead, we've got these annoying slope tubes, so that's fun. Yellow, red. Alright. Gonna try to match yellow, but I keep hitting the wrong one. So it's yellow, that's green. Yeah, so we're signed up for some pain right now. Yeah, the yellow and the red are in a pretty bad position, but there's another match. Which one is white? Well, there it is. Blue should be, it's over here somewhere, I think. Yep. Alright, and now there's another one. So yeah, those ones were intersecting in a way that was pretty inconvenient for me to play. But I think that was probably one of the nicer layouts I could have gotten, since there were 2 matches right at the start. Alright. So now we're in this sort of space-looking level. Got some pressure plates. And I believe the idea here is that I want to be able to push the plates onto the buttons to reveal what each of the stones are. So here's one. It's red. That one, don't know yet. That's blue. What's this one? That's also blue. Alright. So now we know that we can safely push this one all the way to the end. That's why we were given 2 blocks, just in case. And that's a solve. Alright. So here's another quite spooky layout. Definitely a very close shave away from dying in all directions. And another thing is that this floor is a really fast moving one. So I have to be super careful with my mouse movement. Alright, so there's green. Want to try to avoid the red one. Luckily the outer wall is safe at least. Gonna hit that just in case. Try to avoid touching the skeleton. What's this one? That's yellow. That's red. That's blue. Alright, let's solve yellow real quick. Or not. But hey, let's just solve blue without too much trouble. And now we know where red is. So red should be in that middle block. Pretty sure. Sure is. Alright, let's try to be a little bit more cautious here. Again, your personal record. Interesting. I suppose I must have gotten a really precise tie. So yeah, you can tell that I've actually beaten some of these before, but I don't actually remember all of them. Alright, so here's a puzzle, which I believe is going to show off that when you push a block over these lakes, it makes a bridge. And you want to be careful when pushing these, because if you push them in the wrong spot, you might not be able to get them back. And that would make the puzzle strictly unsolvable. So I suppose something is going to happen when I fill in this last gap here. Not sure what it'll be. Maybe a stone, maybe the blocks will disappear. There we go. Okay. And another tie. That's actually quite interesting. Okay. So, here's a nightmare. Luckily, it's not too much of a nightmare, but definitely a little bit cumbersome. So it looks like all of the relevant stones might be on the outer edge here. So there's blue. Let's go ahead and match blue real quick. Let's go over here. It's yellow. The corners don't seem to be anything. That's cyan. What were these two again? Pink and green. That's yellow. Really threading the needle. Alright. So that's those parts matched up. Alright, red. Green. Alright, let's match green real quick. That's red, so let's match up red. And finally, to match pink. I believe that in some cases I probably could have spent a life real quick to sort of get a closer respawn location, but not worth the risk. Alright, so here's another meditation level. If you recall, I've got to get all of the bowls resting in the holes, and if 3 of them, or 2 or more of them, share the same hole, then that actually doesn't count. So that's just another good thing to know for future reference. Let's try to split them up. So that's pretty good. Alright. So the slopes were very friendly to us to get them each sort of cordoned off. I forget if that's actually a real word. I might be thinking of wardened, but... Alright. That was probably not a good idea. I'm going to reset, just like that. So, what does this do? It opens that door. Okay. So I'm pretty sure that this is a Sokoban type puzzle. And in fact, I think the idea is that I want to use these ones on the outside to fill up the inside. So something like that. But do I want to do it like that? Perhaps... Yeah, I do think I need to do it like this. So let's bring this one through. Because if I were to try and solve the blocks on the inside right now, if I were to, like, if you look at the middle 2 rows, if I were to push one of those, like, up or down near the other one, then it would create a 2x2 formation. And when blocks are in those formations, you can never restore them. So that would be very bad for the solvability of the puzzle at large. But now that we've filled in all of these holes here, eventually, now we can push them the other way. So something like that. And now that that's there, we can go ahead and push this one through. And that's one of the switches. And now we'll go through and poke out this other one. Nice. Blue and red. Blue and red. Okay. So that one wasn't too hard of a puzzle, but definitely a taste of what some of the block pushing puzzles can actually be like. New personal record, by the way. Alright, here's another dangerous one. Looks like it's sort of like that space level earlier, except I can't quite take any shortcuts now. So, gonna want to be extra careful and follow the sand path. Alright. I'm just going to verify that was red. What's this one? Okay, a match. That's actually very good, because that means that I don't have to backtrack to this part of the puzzle. And we've got these sort of bumpy walls on the side. Just sort of finely moving the marble through. I believe that this marble is actually called yin, and the white marbles are called yang. I'm not sure if that'll be relevant for a while, but there is eventually an item that I'm pretty sure lets you switch controls between the black and the white marbles. And it looks like a yin-yang orb, which is sort of why I believe these marbles are given those names. And being extra careful here. Nice. Alright. So here's an actual puzzle. Sort of a standard Sokoban fare, except for the part where I'm a marble. I think what I want to do if I fill in the middle row, then I waste a few blocks, because I can't touch the two leftmost ones unless I get a bridge built on their respective rows. I think, yeah, that does make sense. So we're going to ignore the middle row, and we can hit that middle block from the top or bottom side instead. Alright, got this one now. Gotta be extra careful. That's another one filled in. Alright, so now the real question is, how do we deal with these? Because these arrangements are actually quite unfriendly. We gotta make sure that we don't get any blocks permanently stuck. Which is, it wants to happen really bad right now. But I think, let's move that there, and try not to bump that into the wrong spot. So if we move this to there, now what we should be able to do is bump that down, and now it is safe to extract. Again, this is a very slippery floor, or fast acting, so you've got to be super careful not to accidentally hit a block the wrong way. Alright. There we go. That's another one out. There we go. So what are these? Red and blue? Okay. Let's get another one out. Preferably this one. It's a little bit in a dangerous spot. So now let's touch the bottom row, I think. Next up, let's go ahead and bump this one down. Don't have much to say while I'm going through the motions here, since the start was sort of the hardest part to figure out. Do want to be a little bit more careful over here. Alright, that should be good. Interesting that I'm pretty sure we actually have one block extra compared to what we'd actually need to solve the puzzle. I wonder why that's the case. Perhaps No, I don't think there's any other solution that you could really get in terms of like how to fill in the pool. I suppose you do get one extra block if you make a mistake while pushing the other ones, but that'll be a mystery which I won't necessarily solve. Alright, so now... it is actually necessary, because here's the thing. We need a block there. I'm going to push this down instead of the other one real quick, so that it's a little bit safer. So with that block in the pool there, we do actually need it. Specifically, so that we can hit this from the other side, like that. There's another one. And we're down to our last block. And this is a 5 and something minute puzzle, so yeah. I would say that well, would you look at that? My mouse movement was a little bit too excited, and now the puzzle's impossible. There is one gambit I can try, which is to jettison myself off the water here and hope that I can hit that block, like, really well, but no. It's seeming like I might have, in fact, doomed myself. Yeah. I don't think I'm making it across that pool. I'm not sure if I'm just getting unlucky with, like, the movement, but yeah. So, that's what failure looks like. I'm not sure if I actually want to resolve that one. Which one was that? Push them in. So as you can see, I've already got a medal on that. Let's move on. Without trimmer. So this one, these little springy blocks here bounce me around. So obviously you don't want them to bounce you into the water. And the best way to be safe around them is to not touch them at all, which basically just means be extra safe. But luckily this layout isn't actually that bad. Just like that, a solve. Oh, now check this out. There's a slope pushing me to the outer edge, and the middle edge is also dangerous. So check that. Alright, so that's green, blue. Alright. Nice. Ice skating. Alright, so what's going on here? Right. Okay, so these are push blocks. And these are the type of push block which are very annoying to hit because, yeah, that. The ice is, like, it's exceptionally slippery. Like, my mouse control is hardly effective at all, and the friction is even worse. But let's see if we can't make something happen. Alright, so the block's over the edge now. I don't think we're going to be able to bridge over these, but there is one thing we can do, which is to bump the corners. And hopefully that should be enough. Slow down here. Just sort of gently carry ourselves over. Slow down a bit more. Gotta be really careful. Wow. Yeah. I think when I cross the halfway point, I want to slow myself down in equal proportion to how much I was speeding myself up. So there's another one. Sock it to him. So those outer blocks are probably going to be matching stones. I guess they're called Oxyd stones to be more precise. And this is another Sokoban level, very similar to the prior one. I believe it's really just as simple as getting all these blocks out. Which might be easier said than done. I believe we want this there, this there, that there. Then we can bump this one out. Nice. Let's go ahead and, yeah. I think we want to try and do the middle rows of switches first, just so that in case I mess something up and accidentally like bump it to one of the walls, that'll be a good thing for the most part. So carefully move there. That's that row filled. Be serenaded by the music. That's the word that I was forgetting earlier. And that's all 4 rows filled. Now we extract our final block from this section of the puzzle at least. The left side is the next thing we'll have to figure out. Being a little bit more violent with my block pushing there. So, how do we deal with this part? These are pretty safe to move. So is this, I think. And if we move this up, is it safe to push this up right now? The only reason I bring that up is because if I try to like slam the right one, there's a chance that the recoil makes me bump the other one into the wall. But I'm pretty sure that I can salvage it if I do that, so just be safe. Alright. Let's get this one out of the way next. Let's do this upper one here. Alright. Let's get this one in a good spot now. I don't think that I'll have as high a likelihood of failing the puzzle like I did with that other one. Just gotta be sure to not mess up the very last steps. It might even be possible to ignore these, actually. I've got all those 4 switches held down. So that's red. That's green. That's yellow. Alright, so that's red. How about this one? That's yellow. Okay. So here's what we can do. We can ignore those. Let's bump that here. So that's blue. So we will have to sort of make a gamble there. Which one is this? Green. So that's green solved. And now, if we push this one over, I believe right here, that's not where it goes. Wait, is it? I think it is actually. Okay. So now this should be the bottom switch. Sure is. So we push this out. Push it onto there. And there you go. I didn't even need 2 of those blocks. I suppose I'll stop this after this puzzle. So, let's read the note. The bright light beam is a laser beam. Don't get too close to it, but it has its uses. You can use the mirrors to direct the laser to its targets. From these, only the light gray ones are movable. Just try it. So, we've got a mirror here. And you can see that it's redirecting that laser and blasting the Oxyd stones. So the top one's blue, the bottom one's red. And this one's a movable mirror. So, nice. So that's a match. I think there is actually a way to be a little bit safer about how I direct the laser here, which is to sort of leave it in a safe state like that. Alright. Luckily, just a slight bump suffices. And there's a solve. Should I stop it now? Is actually a good question. Let's try out how many levels are left. So we've got light switches. Accidentally entered that puzzle. That's not my intent. So we've got 3 whole pages left after this. Or actually, is it rows? Can't tell. It might just be that the pages like got desynced or something, but either way, this will end a row. So I think that I'll end it after this one, actually. So these different like orbs here, whenever the block covers them, it activates one of the lasers. And this is sort of like an indirect memory game. Gotta remember like which one goes to which laser. And I think, yeah, I'm not actually sure how they're arranged. Seems sort of random. So let's try and memorize these. So that's blue. That's green. That's red. That's blue. Okay. So if we go right here, nice, that's a match. So that's green. I believe there was another green somewhere. Okay, so there's a green, but it's sort of in a bad spot. Pink. Well, there's a match. So now, actually, we can do that. And since it's not getting interrupted, we can go ahead and push this onto its green target, which was right here. So red. There's another match. I believe the last one should be real soon, wherever it was. Was it in the bottom right? Close enough. So that's a good place to stop. So that's a taste of what Enigma is like. And that was like, I'd say 2/3-ish of the tutorial pack. I'll see if there's more I can do later on, but consider that an introduction to the madness of this game. See you next time.